The Egyptian capital, Cairo, and speak to Jonathan Fowler, the UNRWA spokesperson. Jonathan, really appreciate your time. We know how busy you must be. What's the latest from that school that's been hit?
Well, we're still gathering information on what happened. However, I just want to underline that we've had a series of absolutely tragic incidents which have affected our facilities in Gaza. We've had over 160 of our facilities since this war began, which have been hit, affected in various ways by strikes and bombardments. And that's left over 100 people dead and over 1,400 people injured. And these are people who were sheltering under the safety of the UN flag.
Yeah, absolutely. We did pick up on those numbers that your organization published just a few days ago. And we've been speaking to people across Gaza and analysts in the Middle East about how those numbers, they don't seem credible, because we know that all of your facilities, as UNRWA was explaining, fly that UN flag, and it's quite clear that those are UN facilities. In terms of the aid that you're managing to get in, how much of it is still stuck on the Egyptian side of the border? How much has been able to get into Gaza, and especially how much is going to the north? Do we have details about any of that?
Well, I mean, aid, of course, is you know, it's a moving amount. But I mean, the clear problem that we face is that we need to get at least 500 trucks a day of aid into Gaza. That's the bottom line, in order to meet the basic survival needs of close to 2 million people. We have 1.7 million people who are reliant on our aid to survive. Now, getting the aid in is one thing, but we've actually been repeatedly barred over the recent months from getting aid to the north. And then in March, we were informed that we would no longer be allowed to carry any kind of aid to the north. And as Philippe Lazzarini flagged to the UN Security Council, we are the backbone of the aid operation. So if we can't operate properly, then what's the result? Well, when we have man-made famine tightening its grip.
Jonathan, how difficult is it for UNRWA to navigate the current political climate inside Israel? Benjamin Netanyahu is just one. I just wanted to point out this issue, and this will be very sensitive for you, because Benjamin Netanyahu is just one of many Israelis who seem to think that UNRWA is just full of Hamas members.
Well, I mean, clearly, you know, we faced a number of allegations over the years. And with the latest allegations that we faced in January, I mean, we're talking about allegations unsubstantiated against 12 members of UNRWA's 30,000 staff. So let's do the maths on that. That's 0.04% of our staff. Now, what does that mean? I mean, you do not tarnish an entire agency based on those kind of allegations, nor do you represent 12 as equaling 100%. I mean, that's simply not correct. But overall, I mean, without commenting on internal politics, of course, I mean, what Philippe Lazzarini flagged yesterday to the UN Security Council is that we're seeing an insidious campaign that's been ongoing and has stepped up amid the war in Gaza to drive UNRWA out of existence. And yet we have a mandate from the UN Security Council stretching back 75 years, repeatedly renewed, to operate in this region and to be the essential service provider for Palestine refugees.
Yes, and I imagine that once this eventually comes to an end, UNRWA will play a leading part in rebuilding Gaza and helping people reclaim their former lives. How much has Gaza and its population been set back over the past 6 and a bit months?
Well, this is, I mean, yes, you're quite right to flag the point about the setback, because over the past 6 months, Gaza has been completely transformed beyond recognition. I mean, we've had homes, schools, hospitals basically turned into rubble, and there's countless bodies lying under the rubble. So yes, the immediate needs meeting the needs, trying to stop the famine from tightening its grip, trying to stop it from happening, trying to stop the outbreak of epidemics across the Gaza Strip, because they're stalking, of course, in the current situation, particularly waterborne diseases. But the reconstruction effort, the entire Gaza Strip is basically a ruin.
Jonathan, thanks so much. As I said at the start of the interview, take care. Good luck with the work. Jonathan Fowler from UNRWA.